Welcome to the first ever Tournament of Champions of Poker, hosted by the beautiful Orleans Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. And now, the founder and master of ceremonies of the Tournament of Champions, Mr. Mike Sexton.
Hi, welcome to the cocktail party and the welcome party for the participants of the first ever Tournament of Champions of Poker. I appreciate so much the international players coming to this Tournament of Champions. It's going to make a great event out of it. Our international trophy is going to be a great competition. And let's all give the Aussies a big round of applause.
Tiki fucker, vititare, over hoopane, kapane, vititare, hey!
Okay, hello. We're on the eve of the first ever Tournament of Champions of Poker here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I have with me the president of the European Poker Players Association, Peter Fallman.
On behalf of our European players and the European Poker Players Association, I would like to welcome all European associates who had the chance and the luck to come over for this wonderful tournament. Well, we are really looking forward to this tournament because it's so challenging and absolutely one of the greatest events ever. And I think it's one of the most prestigious tournaments we can hold.
And we so appreciate you being here, really. And we're so thrilled that Paris has sent so many representatives here for the Tournament of Champions. As you can see, all the logos from the different European tournaments. It's beautiful. They compete in England and Holland, and we have 13 countries competing for the international trophy. As you can see, the TOC International Trophy will be awarded to the foreign nation with the most players placing in the money at the Tournament of Champions. It's going to be very exciting. We have 13 countries competing for this award. They're Australia, Austria, Canada, Costa Rica, England, Finland, France, Germany, Holland, Ireland, New Zealand, Slovenia, and Sweden. It's going to be a great competition, and we're excited about it, and all the foreign players are really making an effort to win this event. We're looking at a picture collage of Noel Furlong, the 1999 world champion of poker, who is an international player. He reigns from Ireland, and the Irish put on a great show at this year's World Series of Poker. We're now scanning the international wall, showing the tournaments that take place in Europe over the course of a year. There are very many tournaments. We've blown up some posters of their logos. They're from Germany, England, Amsterdam, Paris, Vienna, the Irish Open, Helsinki, in Finland. I mean, it's a tremendous, and Baden-Baden in Austria has the largest 7-card stud tournament in the world. They have tremendous events in Europe. If you get a chance to go overseas and play some of these, you should do so. Here's our tournament host, Doyle Brunson. The man is a true legend of the poker world. He wrote the Bible on poker. Two-time world champion.
I haven't just arrived, Mike. I've been here for...
Member of the Hall of Fame. We're blessed to have Doyle. He wants to say a few words to everybody. Thank you, Doyle. We got some books for you to autograph later as well.
Well, I'd like to welcome everybody for coming. It's going to be a heck of a tournament before it's over. Mike's worked really hard on it. And I know everybody's really going to help support him. And everybody shuffle up and deal with it tomorrow.
Thank you, Doyle. With me now are the true legends of the poker world. I'm sitting with the host, Doyle Brunson, a 2-time world champion, member of the Hall of Fame. Puggy Pearson, one of the original members of the Hall of Fame. Former world champion,
I am the Hall of Fame.
Russ Hamilton. 3 world champions, 2 Hall of Famers. Really poker legends. I'm going to let them say a few words. We'll start with Puggy, our statesman.
What do you mean, Mike Sexton? A member of the Hall of Fame? I am the Hall of Fame. But I'm also the roving gambler, and that's about it. I'm going to turn you over to Mr. Russ Hamilton.
I just want to say one thing. Mike's worked really hard to put this thing together, and this thing could be the biggest thing ever in poker for all the players. Everybody needs to support him, give him everything they can, and I think we got something great. I think you've done a real good job, Mike.
Well, I'm very impressed by this turnout that they've got here. I know Mike really worked hard to get all these people here, and I think that this is really the beginning of something really special, and I know that everybody's going to really support it. I know I am.
He's responsible for the development of poker in Australia. Poker's grown amazingly around the world the last couple of years, and we're so proud to have the Aussies and New Zealand guys up here. And here's Keith amongst these Hall of Fame players and legends, and here he is, Mr. Keith Sloan.
Well, thank you, Mike. What a wonderful introduction. We're here for one reason only, and that's because this man is behind this tournament. I met Mike Sexton some 12 years ago, and to me, he's the gentleman of the industry over here.
I'm with some very prominent poker people here. The most prominent, of course, is the 1998 world champion of poker, Scotty Wynn. Let's have Scotty say a few words. Scotty?
You know, Michael, thank you for wonderful job you do. I mean it, you know, for put together for TOC here.
We have two-time ladies world champion Susie Isaacs with us, and her good friend Debbie Burkhead, and we're going to say a few words for us.
And I feel like I'm sailing with Columbus. I feel like he is a pioneer in poker, and he is going to take us to new heights, and I love him for it.
Mike, you are the best poker advocate we could have.
I drink to that.
I appreciate that, everyone. Thank you all so much.
He is the best.
Pascal Perrault from Paris, France, and we're going to let Pascal give a little international welcome to all the players.
Thank you very much, Mike, and I'm sure French people will take the cup in Paris.
You know what, tonight there was a rainbow in Las Vegas, and the end of the rainbow it was on the Eiffel Tower, so maybe that's a sign, I don't know.
It's fantastique and magnifique.
Thank you very
So
much.
we appreciate that, and bon chance tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Pascal, oui.
I hope everybody shows up, and I hope I win it, Mike.
Let's hear from Teresa.
Well, I'm not in this one, but I'll be in it next year for sure. That's a for sure.
And I'm looking around for my first endorsement.
Well, the party's over and it's time for business. Approximately 660 players will play multiple games against all champions in an attempt to capture the prestigious TOC title. The dealers are getting ready, and the players are assembled in the Champions Lounge, preparing for the Parade of Nations into the tournament area. We have a terrific contingent of foreign players in this inaugural event. There were 13 nations vying for the TOC International Trophy. Some of them include England, and others involved here. We have Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Germany, Mexico, Norway. It's nice to see players from so many places come. China, Italy, and the red, white, and blue of the United States.
All right, the moment is at hand. I'd like to introduce the founder and the president of the Tournament of Champions. Put your hands together for a very hard-working man, Mr. Mike Sexton.
Welcome, everybody, and thank you for being here. I'd like to congratulate everybody for being here for the first ever Tournament of Champions. You should be proud to be here. This is a great event. You represent the very best tournament poker players in the world. Before we get started, I'd like to recognize a few people that made the Tournament of Champions such a success here as we're under our first year here. The first person, of course, is David Hersina and the Orleans Hotel and Casino. I'd also like to recognize a guy who is a partner of mine in the TOC Inc. His name is Chuck Humphrey. He's out there still signing up, taking registrations probably, and I really appreciate all he's done. My weaknesses are his strengths, and that's lucky for all of us. So Chuck, we thank you. Next, I want to thank the casinos and card rooms from around the world for supporting the Tournament of Champions. I truly believe this event is great for the entire poker industry, and we're just going to hope that casinos continue to qualify players, and I appreciate their support. Okay, the most important people I want to thank are you, the players. Really, when I first started this project, I had some doubts about some things, but I never, ever had a doubt about players loving the Tournament of Champions and supporting it. And obviously the turnout we have today proves I was right in that. I thank you all for being here, really. It means a lot to me. And now it's my honor to introduce to you people the true living legends of poker, the greatest players in the history of poker, the most famous names in poker. We have three of them with us here today, and I'm just honored that they're here for the first Tournament of Champions. The first one I'll introduce is a two-time world champion, the winner of the most titles in the history of the World Series of Poker, the man that authored the book that is considered the Bible of poker, and now for his greatest poker achievement, hosting the first ever Tournament of Champions, the legendary and great Mr. Doyle Brunson. Next is also a former world champion poker player. He's from the hills of Tennessee. He didn't get out of the 4th grade. He had 3 hitches in the Navy. He became an expert at pool, gin, poker, golf. The man is truly, probably the greatest rounder in the history of the country, the legendary and great Pucky Pearson. Thank you, Pucky. The last man I want to introduce is also a former world champion. The man is not only in the Poker Hall of Fame, he is in 4 Hall of Fames. He's been on the Tonight Show 6 times. He has done more for poker around the world than any man living on the planet. The man is the greatest ambassador in the history of poker. I want you to welcome Mr. Emerald Slim.
It's nice to see everybody here. I didn't realize there were so many countries represented. I'm truly impressed. And I'd like to welcome everybody here that has made it this far. And if anybody's wondering about my crutch, it's because from the last golf match that Mike and I had, but I think it was worth it because we did win some money. Thank you a lot.
Well, I'm not very good with these mics, but I'm going to say that's you. I've always said that the only thing that didn't change in this world is change itself. And look what's happened to poker since I was back in them back rooms and in them pool rooms when I was a little youngster. And who would ever thought it would evolve? And look where it's going to evolve 5 or 10 years down the road.
I told you that very long because you're out here to play poker. It'd be just my suggestion to assume the position and let's get this thing underway. Play it out.
Start a special little film that we have that I think everyone's going to really enjoy. So if we could dim the lights down.
We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions, we are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world. I've taken my bows and my curtain calls. You brought me fame and fortune and everything that goes with it. I thank you all, but it's been no bed of roses, no pleasure cruise. I consider it a challenge before the whole human race, and I ain't gonna lose. We are the champions, my friends, and we'll keep taken my bows and my curtain calls. You brought me fame and fortune and everything that goes with it. I thank you all, but it's been no bed of roses, no pleasure cruise. I consider it a challenge before the whole human race, and I ain't gonna lose. We are the champions, my friends. We'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers. Yes, we are the champions of the world. The champions, my friends. And we'll keep on fighting till the end. Oh, we are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions. The champions, my friends. And we'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions. We are the champions. No time for losers, 'cause we are the champions of the world. I've taken my bows and my curtain calls. You brought me fame and fortune and everything that goes with it. I thank you all, but it's been no bed of roses, no pleasure cruise. I consider it a challenge before the whole human race, and I ain't gonna lose. We are the champions, my friends. We'll keep on fighting till the end. We are the champions.
different disciplines. We're going to play Limit Texas Hold'em, Limit Omaha High-Low Split, and 7-card stud. Ms. Boxer will draw one of these tickets. It has your first discipline on it. They will go in alphabetical order since then. Would you please? Tell them what it says.
First game.
Omaha High-Low Split.
Thank you, Ms. Boxer. It's been a pleasure having you here in the mayor's office.
Okay, let's get this show on the road. We should deal with a shuffle up. Clock has started. Let's get them going. Good luck, everyone.
The Tournament of Champions is underway. This will be a 3-day event. The first 2 days, play will rotate between 3 games and consist of limit poker only. This means there's the limit as to what players can bet. These limits will be raised every 90 minutes. Play will stop today after 6 levels of play. I'm guessing about half the field will be left at the end of day 1. Play will continue on day 2 until 27 players remain in the competition. These 27 players will return on day 3, and the game will be strictly no limit hold'em. No limit poker is the most exciting form of poker, as you can bet all of your chips at any time. The final 9 players will all win a new car and a stack of cash. In 3 days, we will crown poker's ultimate champion. I've been informed that one of the toughest poker tables in the history of poker is assembled here. Over here in seat 1, eating the hot dog is the legendary Johnny Chan, 2-time world champion. Over here in seat 4, we have the 1997 world champion of poker, Huck Seed. Down in seat 7, we have a legendary Doyle Brunson, 2-time world champion. And in seat 9, we have Mike Lang. I mean, a remarkable draw for this table. And in seat 9 over here is former world champion Barry Johnston. Barry, I mean, there's champions on every table. The whole room is full of champions. That's the beautiful thing about the Tournament of Champions. Cindy Violet, the true great lady player of poker. David has written more books on poker than any person alive, probably, and in gambling in specific. And he doesn't play many tournaments, so for him to come out for the Tournament of Champions, I think he likes this format. In the 5 seat, Robert, give us a wave. Robert Turner. Robert's been around a long time. He's done a lot for poker. We appreciate him being here, too. Over here, we have J.C. Pearson. This is the brother of legendary Puggy Pearson. I'm not sure J.C. doesn't play better than Puggy. Tell you the truth, we appreciate him being here, and I'm now standing behind a former world champion of poker, Dan Harrington. Don't let me interrupt your play, Dan. One more time, you're gambling Dan. He's in the action, Dan. All right. Say a few words, Dan. We're happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, too, and good luck to the tournament.
Thank you, Dan. We appreciate that. I want to welcome Christoph Haller, one of the great European poker players. We appreciate him being over here with us, and he's won many titles in Europe, and he's going to try to win the TOC now. Christoph, say a few words.
Thanks, Mike. Well, okay. I won 10 tournaments this year in Europe, and I hope this will be the 11th.
Thank you, Christoph. We appreciate you all being here. Good luck to everybody. This is Mr. Jim Bechtel. He's a former world champion of poker. We appreciate him being here. A lot of world champions are here with us today. Jim, say hello.
How you doing out there?
I'm now standing behind Manfred Darius, one of the great European poker players. And Manfred, we're thrilled to have you here. Say a few words.
Well, I like it here. Thank you for inviting me, Mike. And, well, what I'm saying is good luck to everyone. That's all.
It's a pleasure. Manfred, he's representing Germany today. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm now standing behind Super Mario. Mario, we're happy to have you here. Mario's won quite a few tournaments in this past year, and he's going to try to add the TOC to his collection of trophies.
Hey, Mike, you're doing a great job here. And hi, everybody over there. I think you should all be here. This is a great electric atmosphere here. Well done, Mike.
First, I want to thank Mike for giving us an opportunity to come from all over the world to play in this great city. And we in Europe never thought for a moment that the tournament that will be open and run by Mike will be nothing less but the best. And we are thanking him for giving us the opportunity to come from all over the world to play with some of the best players in the USA. Thank you, Mike.
I'm now standing behind Cowboy Wolford, maybe the most well-liked poker player in the world. He's a former rodeo cowboy.
I believe you're going to start making history today.
And another thing, you know, I've lost a couple of cards trying to get to the last table. You finally got it where now, man, I might win one.
I appreciate it, Cowboy. We wish you good luck.
We're glad to be here. This is absolutely fabulous turnout, fabulous meeting that you have going here. I'm impressed with how high-end it is and how classy, and I'm looking forward to being at the last table.
All right, Mike, thanks. I'm really impressed. 665 players is really outstanding. I'm really happy. That's $1 million in prize money, and it's so good for poker.
He's playing 7-card stud. He don't even know what 7-card stud is much about, and here he is winning this pot.
It's a miracle. It's very seldom do the lamb slaughter the butcher. You know what happened to me? I started out on the Santa Fe and come in on the Katy.
Hello, everybody. I just want to say how exciting this is, and it is a new day and a new age for poker, and I think this is the best thing that's ever happened. I congratulate Mike and all his hard work and all the players who showed up to support him. He knew all along it was going to be a success. He was absolutely right. This is very exciting. Thank you, Mike.
I'm now standing behind Artie Cobb. Artie's a 4-bracelet winner from the World Series of Poker, a true legend in the poker world, and just going around the room, there's just so many champions around here. I'm standing now behind another world champion of poker, Brad Doherty. Brad was the first player to win the $1 million prize pool at the World Series of Poker, and we're just thrilled to have all these world champions here with us. Brad, say hello.
Hello, how is everyone? Nice to see you.
Thank you, Brad. And I'm now standing next to Brad, ironically, is a guy who's probably done more for poker in the last 15 to 20 years than anybody on the planet. He's a legendary Mike the Mad Genius Carroll. He's written many books, many seminars, just a truly, truly man that is on the side of poker, and we're thrilled to have Mike here. Mike, say a few words.
This is the premier event, I believe, now in the history of poker. There's no question in my mind. I say this from the heart. I really think with 663 players today, and this, I can't even imagine what this might grow into.
We welcome you, Bruno. Say a few words to the world. He's representing France, of course. He plays every pot, as you can see. Bruno.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Unfortunately, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Thank you very much, Mike.
This is the famous crocodile, Billy Argus, and we're so thrilled that they came up from Australia to play with us here. And I should have let you guess what his nickname was. If you look at all his crocodile paraphernalia here,
Let's see if I can do a little bit better than Bruno and shoot him up, Buttercup.
This is a true test to see how genius this guy really is. A question was asked at the Royal Flush table. The first hand of the tournament, a Royal Flush was dealt. A man from France, Michel Baton, put up $5,000 for the Royal Flush. They wanted to know what the odds were of that, and I said, I have just the man to go ask, the Mad Genius.
Well, I have no idea. And you know,
Mike, I am just amazed at the turnout today and the color and the pageantry, and I think this is one of the most fantastic events I've ever seen in the whole history of poker.
Je parle un petit peu anglais. I am very happy to be there, with a lot of champions, and I hope that French people make good result. Maybe one in final. If there is more, we are lucky. Thank you.
Diane, say a few words.
Thanks, Mike. As you said, I'm absolutely thrilled to be here. This is a dream of a lifetime. I think you and your team have put together such a memorable event, and I am just thrilled to be here.
Mike, I'm doing this just for you, baby. Believe me when I tell you. I'm cutting you in case I happen to win it.
I'm going to hold you to that, Pug. Everybody heard that here. We got it on film. He's a powerhouse in the industry, and we're just so thrilled to have Lyle Berman take time out of his schedule to be here with us. Lyle, say a few words.
As we get to 3,000 and 6,000, it might be challenging.
And if you have the patience to get there, Lyle, we'll all be impressed. No. Yeah. I'm now standing behind TJ Cloutier, absolutely the most successful poker player, tournament player in the history of the world. In the last 10 years, he won more money at tournament poker than anybody else alive. Former runner-up, third-place finisher, multi-4-bracelet winner at the World Series of Poker, Mr. TJ Cloutier. TJ, say a few words.
Well, Mike, I think this is a fantastic thing you've got going here, and I was with you from the start, and I'll be with you all the way.
Men, we're happy to have you here with us, and are you gambling? You played a little tight this morning.
Gambling up. Gambling up.
Can't help it, I gamble.
He says he's gambling.
Well, I'm real happy to be here, and without a doubt, it's the greatest thing that I've seen happen to poker in the time that I've spent around. And
I think it's the best structured tournament in the world right now. From what I've seen, you've done a marvelous job, Mike.
I predicted this in writing about 2 or 3 months ago that this was going to be an event, and it is an event, believe me.
For him to last this long in a limit tournament, that's pretty impressive, some of these boys. Slim
Miracle.
Slim comes from Texas, where they play big bet poker down there, and not this little itty-bitty stuff. But Slim, how you doing so far? How many chips you got?
I've got a little more than my share. I think I got about 9,000, but I think the cards will break even after a while, and I'll get broke. So no big deal with me. If they break even for 30 minutes, I'll be walking instead of talking. But boy, listen, Mike, this has been great. I know a guy that offered to bet $1 million. In fact, I can wet in his britches that this wound up biggest poker tournament there is. And I don't care who I bet. I'll bet anybody that can pay off. Did you hear what I just said? I'll bet anybody that can pay off.
Well, that's pretty impressive, Slim. I appreciate that.
You got all these foreign contingents coming over here, and we'll wind up milking them like a Rocky Mountain goat, you know? With the Yanks, what the hell? Don't you know them foreigners can't beat us playing poker? Huh? Oh, they couldn't track an elephant in 4 foot of snow. These guys they were just sitting there.
Yeah, there's 20 countries. There's 13 countries vying for the TOC International Trophy, and it's a great award. That's what's attractive to them.
It's already been spoken for. Texas will win it hands down.
Goes by Korean champion. She won everything in the Bay Area. She's won it all. She got a free buy-in. She's the best.
Yeah, you're doing a great job, Mike, and I really like it here. I will come next year and bring a lot of players with me, I promise you.
This is my first trip to Las Vegas, so this whole experience has been pretty amazing for me.
This is Maureen Feduniak, and her husband Bob is also in the tournament. One of our married couples in the tournament. We have 4. And Maureen, how you doing?
Just fine, thank you, Mike. I'm having a great time. It's a wonderful tournament, thank you.
And I appreciate that.
You raised me?
Yeah, I'm not bad shape. This is a heck of a tournament you got here. I'm proud of you. You're a good man.
Andre, looks like you're going pretty good so far.
Yeah, so far so good. I mean, can't complain. And it's thank you very much for having a very nice tournament like that. You know, and I think it's pretty good, world class.
How we doing?
Good.
Sandy, we appreciate you being here. She's from the East Coast, plays in Atlantic City, and we're glad to have her here. Sandy, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It's a great tournament.
And Surrender, you're still here. You're showing good patience.
Yeah, I've got about 20 lives today.
At least 20 lives.
We're here with legendary poker player Tahoe Andrew Tahoe. And out of 346 players still remaining going into day 2, Tahoe has the large stack of a $200. He is the bottom man, still alive in this tournament.
That's right. How many players left did you say?
Around 345.
345. Well, I'm the last one on the totem pole, but I still got a seat in a chair, so I still have a little shot at it.
I think this has been just a tremendous opportunity for a girl from Green Bay, Wisconsin, to be able to play in this, what I think is probably the most important poker event that's ever happened in the world. Is just a tremendous thrill for me. I've gotten to meet so many of the world champs, just wonderful, gracious people. You know, I feel kind of like Cinderella that cleaned up and got to go to the ball.
Getting ready to start day 2 of the first TOC Championship. I'm honored to say my host, Mr. Doyle Brunson, made the front page of the papers today. Texas Dollar, and he's still alive. Doyle, I'm proud of you.
Thank you, Mike. Let me go play this pot, and I'll talk to you.
Okay. Doug had tough luck. I happened to be standing next to him the last hand that was played yesterday. He picked up 2 aces in the Hold'em section and got beat by a straight at the river on the last card. Doug, how'd you sleep last night?
I didn't get any sleep. I slept like a baby. I cried 15 minutes and slept 15 minutes.
I just want to bring you up to date. Middle of the second day, around 200 players left.
Hanging tough, enjoying myself.
Okay, best of luck. The remaining 45 players are all in the money. In addition to being in the money this year, they're all eligible to play in TOC 2000. Congratulations, everyone.
Made history today. And Viva la France. France wins the international trophy. Amazing, it was 7 participants still in the competition.
Don't say nothing, sit down.
We've reached the final day of play of the Tournament of Champions, day 3. It's going to be exciting because the play is strictly no limit hold'em on day 3. That means you can bet all your chips at any time. Let's now meet the 27 finalists vying for poker's ultimate championship title. First we have Antran. Next is Randall Skaggs out of Kentucky. Next we have Paul Cormelli. Doug Sabb out of Alabama. Next is Claude Cohen from Paris, France. The legendary Doyle Brunson made the final day. Russ Eliagram is up next. Martin Comer, he's one of our Down Under representatives, still alive in the tournament. Next is Barbara Enright, one of our 2 ladies left. Louis Asmo out of Columbus, Ohio is up next. Mohammed Ibrahim is next. Next is our chip leader, Michel Baton. He has 242,000 worth of chips. Jean Boubli, also of Paris. Next is Klaus Schumacher of Germany. We have young rising star Alan Cunningham. Guy Sidbone, also of Paris. Next is J.P. Masser. Next is Richard Santos that we have. Next is Claude Stefanescu. Come on in, Claude. Lynn Bowers in next. Followed by David Chu, great poker player. Nancy Nevis, our other remaining lady, still alive in the tournament. Tournament legend Men the Master Win. Gene James from Virginia. Hans Feaster, one of our overseas representatives. This is William Pollard, our oldest entry into the Tournament Champions. He's 81. Sadly, one of the players missing. His name is Alfredo Toto Leonidi. He's in seat 8 on table 1 over there next to Doyle. Unfortunately, he had some health problems and he's in the hospital this morning. We have to blind him off, but we all wish him the best. As I said earlier, play today consists strictly of no limit hold'em. That means you can bet all your chips at any time you want. Let's watch a little of the action. We're watching Doyle Brunson in action here. Doyle's made a re-raise. Looks like of about 40,000. Paul folds. Doyle wins the pot. We're going to rejoin the action with the final 9 players as soon as former world champion Phil Hellmuth gives us a lesson on no limit hold'em.
Today the game is Texas Hold'em No Limit. That means whenever it's your turn to bet, you can bet any amount of chips that you want to. We have a button first, and we have a small blind and a big blind. Now, the person to the left of the big blind acts first. Dealer, please deal us 2 cards each. Again, Texas Hold'em No Limit. It's my action. I have an option to fold or raise as many chips as I want to at this point. I'm going to call 2 chips. Chuck has called 1 chip. John? John says deal. Go ahead, dealer. The money's pulled into the middle. There's 3 community cards flipped up. All right, now the button determines who acts. I'm last. Chuck has checked.
I checked.
John has checked. I have checked. Bring us another card.
Check again.
Chuck is checked. John is checked. Now remember, this is the third round of betting. We're on 4th Street right now in technical terms for poker. Go ahead, dealer. I'm going to check one more card here. It's an ace. Chuck? Chuck bets 3 chips. John folds. I call 3 chips. This is the final round of betting. Let's see the hands.
Jack high.
Jack high. Well, I made a little king high call, so I win this pot. There's 4 rounds of betting in Texas Hold'em. 1 before the flop, 1 after 3 cards are up, 1 after 4 cards are up, and 1 after the river. The best, it's like 7-card stud. The best 5-card hand plays. We play 5 community cards and 2 cards that we have in our hand. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Phil. That was a nice demonstration. But the chance of John Benetti and Phil Helmuth checking 2 streets in a row is very remote. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the first ever Tournament of Champions of Poker. For 2 days, these players have battled at limit poker, and now today they've tested their skills at no limit poker. We started with a field of 664 players, a tremendous field from players from over 13, 14 different countries around the world, very big international field, and we limited it down to these 9 finalists. We're going to get to them in just a minute. Before I do so, I want to welcome the staff that's going to run the tournament for us, and the tournament director, Mike Vento. Say hello to Mike. His assistants, Brian Gurdon and Jerry Edwards. These people are the best in the business, top of the line. Dealers are professional. The Orleans Hotel has been magnificent for this championship, and we appreciate everything that you guys have done. Thank you so much. Now, let's go ahead and introduce the players. The starting lineup, as they say, for the final 9. J.P. Masser. J.P. starting in the 2 seat. He has $170,000 worth of chips. All right, next we have in the 3 seat from Columbus, Ohio, Louis Asmo. Louis has $450,000. Come on in, Louis. Louis is a Buckeye fan like I am. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, in seat 4 is the host of the Tournament Champions, maybe the most famous man in the poker world today and of all time, the legendary Hall of Famer, 2-time world champion, Doyle Brunson. Texas Dolly, ladies and gentlemen. His name is Michel Baton. He's in the 5 seat. He's starting with $84,000. He was the chip leader at the end of day 1, the chip leader at the end of day 2, and this man donated $5,000 when the tournament started to the first person to make a royal flush at the Tournament of Champions. Amazingly, it was hit on the first deal of the tournament. But what a sport, what a gentleman, what a poker player. Michelle, come on in. Welcome. Next up, we have Lynn Bauer. Lynn is in seat 6. He's starting with $320,000 in chips. And we welcome him to the Tournament of Champions final table. Come on in, Lynn. Next up, we have our southern representative to the final table of the Tournament of Champions. The man reigns out of Alabama. He's a former bracelet winner at the World Series of Poker. He's sitting in the 7th seat. He's starting with $441,000. Let's welcome Doug Sabb. Doug. Next up, out of Paris, France, we have Jean Boubli. Jean is in seat 8. He's starting with $218,000. Jean, welcome. In seat 9, we have a 4-time bracelet winner from the World Series of Poker, legend in the tournament world. This is the famous Min, the Master Win. Min starting with $275,000. Min, come on in. This is David Shue, ladies and gentlemen. David, come on in. He's starting with $885,000 worth of chips.
We have made history this week. Can you imagine 664 players putting up $1,500 to play in this tournament? It's a great thing for poker, and I'm proud to be here. From this day forward, we are entering an era of corporate sponsorship, and our future has never looked brighter as poker players. The Tournament of Champions is going to create bigger events with bigger prize pool. I've been playing poker in legal card rooms for about 25 years, and yes, that makes me over 45, but things have changed a lot since the days when I started playing. And back then, they didn't have abuse penalties. That's one thing that we're pretty proud of today because it's really helped. Back when I started playing, things weren't always so pleasant at the table, and I would not have wanted my mother or my sister to walk into a poker room. Well, it's not the case anymore. This week, I would have been proud to have them come into the poker room. Do you know there was not one penalty given for abuse? Everybody got along. So. It was really a thrill to see what I saw this week. We saw 664 players from different countries applaud for each other. We saw tournament officials dressed in tuxedos, and boy, did they look good. We saw dealers just giving all of their heart to make this a success. Many of them worked 14 hours a day, and it was a tremendous achievement. I think that a lot of the reason that so many players came is to support Mike for what he's given to the industry over the years. And please give a round of applause for Mike Sexton.
I'd like to invite all the French players to please come up on stage behind me. All the French team. Let's hear it for the French, the dominating runaway winner of the International Trophy. Come up.
Thank you very much for your hospitality here as well. We are very happy. We're going to come back next year for sure. Thank you.
I wish good luck to everybody for this final. This is so good player, and I'm very proud for my two French friends to be in this final, and they're going to have a hard time with these people that I know. And but it's such a big moment to be in such a big final in such an important tournament. And I want just to say something. I think everybody will agree with me that this tournament has been organized like I've never seen in my life. I would say that's fantastic.
Let's invite him up on stage. Amarillo Slim and Puggy Pearson. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome two Hall of Famers, legends of the poker industry. We're all grateful for what they've done.
As far as those Frenchmen are concerned, I want them to know that I speak it fluently. Chevrolet Coupe. But we're glad to have them all come over here because I remember our Lend-Lease program, and we will treat them like a stepchild. Believe me, if they keep coming over here, we'll knock all the tail feathers out of them boys. But they've been good. They've been real good for this tournament. Personally, I think Mike has come with a great concept here. I'm real proud of him. I'm thankful for what you've done. I respect it and I appreciate it. I think this will get to be the pinnacle of poker events. And I'm not just saying that because I don't give a damn about you or the ship that brought you over here. But thank you.
Amarillo Slim, ladies and gentlemen, the greatest ambassador worldwide in the history of poker.
That's pretty nice of you, Mike, having me follow an act like Amarillo Slim. All right. I am a roving gambler. I gamble all around. Whenever I meet with a deck of cards, I lay my pretty money down. I've gambled all down in Texas. I've gambled up in Maine. And as soon as I get me a fresh bankroll, I'm going to do it all over again. All right.
Puggy Pearson, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Pug. Thank you, Slim. All right.
Well, I meant to tell you, I'm dedicating this song to Mr. Doyle Brunson.
Well, they'll get broke first now for sure. Okay, are we about ready to get going here? Let's get down to the action. We're getting ready to start the tournament now.
Okay, let's shuffle up. We'll high card for the button. And of course, Mend the Master starts with the button. Okay, let's shuffle up and deal. Let's start the clock. Good luck, players.
Well, this is it, the final table. It's where all poker players want to be, especially at the Tournament of Champions. The circle indicates Mend the Master starts with the button. All 9 of these players will win cash and a new car. 6th through 9th place get a Mercury Sable. 2nd through 5th place get a Mercury Marquis. And our first place winner gets a Lincoln Town Car and $214,543. Here we go. Action on the first deal. Lynn Bauer raises the pot $40,000. Three folds. J.P. Masser moves all in. Lynn Bauer quickly calls. J.P. Masser lays down ace-8 of clubs. Lynn Bauer has 2 kings. Wow, there's 2 clubs on the flop, giving J.P. a flush draw. Comes a 5 of spade. J.P. needs a club or an ace to stay alive. It's a 6 of diamonds. He gets no help, and J.P. Masser becomes our 9th place finisher. J.P. wins $10,727 in cash and a new Mercury Sable. Losing a player on the first deal. What an exciting start. Final table action at major no-limit hold'em tournaments is very exciting. As you know, we cannot show you every hand on the TOC video, but you will see all the key hands. We do have expert commentators for you. Most of these guys are former world champions of poker. Our first commentator, however, will be the publisher of Card Player magazine, herself a bracelet winner from Binions, Linda Johnson. Linda, welcome, and take it away.
Michelle raised all in for $62,500. Min is calling. The 2 hands, Min has Queen and Jack. Michelle has King, Queen of Hearts. The flop is Queen, Jack. At the moment, Min has the lead. Min makes a full house. Jack's full of queens, and Michelle is our 8th place finalist. Michelle's taking with him $16,091 and a brand new Sable.
Michelle played very unlucky to get broke with this hand. He held King Queen, moved all in, and got called by Min. He lost to a Queen Jack. That's just tough luck. Phil Helmuth will shortly be joining us to help with the commentary. Phil is a true expert at this. He's a former world champion and will provide some terrific insight for you.
Doug Saab calls. Flop comes Jack 9-5. 2 nines on the board. Min bets 40,000, wins the pot. We welcome the spectators. We have a nice full crowd here tonight for the first Tournament of Champions final. This will be an annual event. It's very popular amongst the players.
Mike Sexton has an absolutely beautiful tournament going on here, where at the Tournament of Champions, where they raise the antes and the blinds at a very, very reasonable level. It gives the champion players a long time to work on their hands. One more time, Mike has structured this tournament beautifully. He's gone from a $1,500, $8,000 and $16,000 blinds. He's moved up to 10 and 20,000 blinds with a 1,500 ante, which is just a very small increase and gives players time. That's what us that's what the great poker players sitting back and waiting.
Davis Shue raises another pot. David, who is the chip leader, will most likely control the action as long as he has the lead. Big stacks normally take charge, especially in no-limit poker. As I speak, another former world champion, Scotty Wynn, is making his way up to join us on stage. Let's go back to the action. Doyle's playing this pot with David.
Doyle bets. Phil, go ahead and take it.
Doyle Brunson and David Shue are involved in the pot here, and they're my two favorites to win this thing. It's not really that big of a pot, but relative to this tournament, there's 100,000 out there, and Doyle's just bet 60,000. David. That's the first pot I recall seeing Doyle Brunson win so far today. What happens is the flop has come deuce of hearts, 5-7 of diamonds. And Doug Saab has bet out 30,000. How much did he bet, Mike? Can't see the chips.
40,000.
Doug Saab has bet out $40,000. David Shue raises $65,000 more. Doug Saab calls. Wow, we have a huge... It's hard to imagine what they have. Scotty, what do you think? You think Doug has a nut flush draw?
You know, I didn't see the hand from beginning, so I really don't know.
Yeah, I think what happened is David Shue raised the pot on the way in, and Michelle Baton, Lynn Bauer called in the 6th seat, and Doug Saab called in the 7th seat. In other words, Doug Saab called out of the big blind. Now Doug let out at the flop after it came deuce 5-7. David Shue raised him 80,000. Doug Saab is checked. David Shue's declared that he's betting $200,000. It's decision time for Doug Saab. What do you think they have, Scotty?
You know, I think David Shue on the big draw right now.
Really?
Yes.
I have David Shue on like a pair of queens, and I have Doug Saab like on a pair of tens. One thing's for sure, Doug Saab is trying to figure out whether he has the best hand or not.
I bet you right now, Phil. If Doug call, he gonna move in.
Yes, that's for sure. Doug Saab only has about 60,000, 70, something like that.
Yes.
So he's either going to bet the 270 or... It's a very interesting hand here. What do you think, Scotty? I mean, I definitely think David Shue. Oh, he wins the pot.
Yes, you know, too bad we can see the hand. So let's see
Yes.
between me and you who is gets wrong, all right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we could. That's the problem
Yes.
sometimes. And
All right,
no limit
very
hold'em, you
next
never
hand we're
know
gonna
what
do
they
that.
had.
Go, isn't it?
No, he made it 60,000 to go. Look at this. He's getting called.
That's 20.
Louis Asmos opened the pot for $60,000, and boy, I'll tell you something. He's a tight. Louis has a hand. You know he has a hand, right,
Yes,
Scotty?
yes.
You know he has a hand. Now he got called by Jean Boublé. It's on Jean Boublé from France to act. He's checked. Louis has bet out 60,000.
What I
Louis wins
say.
it. Yeah.
Louis is a good player, baby.
Louis is a tough player, no doubt about it. And you know something?
What?
When Louis puts his money in the pot, he has something. Yeah, I just think there's so much skill when you're playing No Limit Hold'em that.
That's it. That's it. But I agree
But the
with you.
guys that have been there
No-
before, have the best chance of winning. So, in my eyes, Doyle Brunson is definitely the favorite, and we'll see if he wins it or not.
I would love to have that picture. This guy just taking us from me, okay? To make sure you tell him to give me that. I always love to have a picture of you, man. You know?
So an interesting pot developed earlier when Min was in the small blind and David Hsu was in the big blind. And what happened was Min limped in, he called, and then David Hsu raised $35,000. Min re-raised him $100,000 very quickly. And David Hsu, without much hesitation, re-raised $200,000 more.
Yeah.
And beat Min for $150,000 and won a hand that hand.
Oh, so Min
so here they
just
are, the
tried to
same
make
position.
a move on David then.
I think Min was making a move.
Yeah.
And David said, you know, I'm making a stand. I think you're making a move. You
David
know,
have too much power right now, baby. I think David Chu have the edge on Min right now. You know what I mean?
Well, he's in position too. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, it looks like they're just playing a small pot this time.
Yes. Look like King High won it. See?
Min bets out 20,000 and wins it.
King High, what is it?
Min flopped kings up. He was trapping David Hsu. He was looking for David Hsu to put a little money in there and raise him. This tournament has basically come out of nowhere to be ranked. I still would prefer to win the 10,000 no limit World Championship, but after that, this tournament probably beats all World Series tournaments.
This is it.
It's only once a year. It's a great event.
Michael, you do a very wonderful job, Michael.
Here we are, another small pot between Louis and Min, and basically Min's just called 20 on the button, and Louis said okay, checked, and now on the last card you can see the board there. All you need is a king or a 9 for a straight. Louis bet 20,000. I bet he has a king. Did he show the hand?
Let's see what Min does.
He did have a
got two
king. Look
10,
at this
yes.
beat. Min to win flopped 3 10s. I thought, it looked to me like Louis had to have a king. He's just not out there messing around, Scotty.
See?
I don't like the way Min played that hand. I mean,
Oh,
he limped
you're
in
right.
on the button there. He just called, and then he flopped trips, and he didn't bet it. And,
Right.
you know, I mean, at some point you have to put some money in with
Absolutely.
the hand. And he let his man get there for free and gave up
Yes.
the 50,000 in the pot, plus the $20,000 call.
That's
I
a
just don't like the way he
bad
played
play
that
of
hand.
Master
Yeah.
Man. He should have known better than that. The blind is big enough, you know, just win it right there.
Doyle's just kicked back. He's relaxed. It looks like he's just paying attention to things. And you know, I'll tell you something, Scotty. You've been there before, but nervousness begins to be a factor. Sometimes
Yes.
it's hard to win all the money and all
But,
and
you
the
know,
championship and the
see,
title.
That's when heart involved. When you play no limit, without heart, you cannot win. You cannot become a world champion without heart. You know
Heart
what I
is
mean?
right. I agree.
So you have to play.
Here comes
you have
Louis.
to make moves.
Louis
not
is
just
open for
kick
40.
back and sit back and look. Because
Louis
you're
opens.
not going to go nowhere.
Louis opens the pot for 45,000.
And
Lynn Bowers called. Lynn Bowers called on the big blind. There it is, King Jack 4. Lynn checks. Louis, what's he betting? 60,000. I bet Louis had something. That's a pretty powerful bet. And when he makes a powerful bet, he really tends to have a hand. Here comes David Hsu, open for $60,000. That's a good bet. That's 3 times the blinds. He wins it unopposed. David Hsu is limped in, which means he's called $20,000 first to act, which to me means he has a strong hand. Wow, Doug Saab has raised the pot.
Which mean?
Doug Saab has made it how much? Doug Saab made it 75,000, I think, here. Now, this is very interesting because David Hsu shows a lot of... I don't know. David
Something
Hsu...
like that, I bet you.
I don't think so. He called in the 1 position. He's a very tight player. To me, he has a big hand here. And Doug Saab knew that he called in the 1 position, and so Doug must have a very powerful hand. So I don't know if David's going to call or not, but I'll tell you one thing, Doug Saab has a powerful hand right now.
See, feel to me it's like David got too much more money and he pick up like a hand like 9, 10 suited or Jack 10 suited or something, you know. And That's the reason he limit men. You see?
You may well be right, Scotty. Doyle Brunson opens for 50,000. Men's in the small blind here.
I think, man, he gonna play this hand. I don't know he call or he
He's going
raise
to
it,
call
but
or
he
raise,
will
yeah.
play.
He may well. I mean, he's...
I bet you he got a big hand right now, baby.
Look at this,
What I
Scotty.
say.
You're right. Here it comes.
That's why I'm, that's why I'm right here, baby. I know my
Men
boy.
to win has moved all in. Doyle Brunson opened for 50,000. Men raised it to about, I'd say men has $500,000, 400,000 anyway.
You
Doyle
see?
ask him what he's.
Every
Doyle ask
time
him what he's
men
drinking.
start say, I bet you he don't get a lot less than king.
Now, Mike Sexton, that was beautiful, Scotty, because
Yes.
you're sponsored by Michelob, huh?
You know, right here, man.
Yeah, all right. When Scotty won the World Championships, he was drinking Michelob beer, and Michelob offered to sponsor him. So that was a nice little joke that Mike told about men and the Corona beer. He's trying to get sponsored
Yes.
by Corona.
That's exactly what he tried to do. You see that? There it is. I bet you men don't get less than kings.
You never know. You just never know. What do you think Doyle Brunson has? I think he might have queens.
I think so. I think he have something like that.
Queens or jacks or
Yes,
ace
the
king?
queen or ace king suited.
I'm putting him in 3 hands. Jacks, queens, or ace king Doyle has.
But I know he cannot call.
I'll tell you the best player right now, the player that probably has the best read of all of us is Doyle.
Yes.
He's the man right in the middle of the action.
See, what this?
That's right. I mean, once you hit the top in poker, you don't spend a lot of time watching events.
Right.
But it's an honor to be here watching this event,
Yes.
And it's an honor for me to be at the World Series every year. And what's happened here? Looks to me like Lynn Bauer has called 20,000, and now I will say that sure, David Schu's made it 70,000. Looks like a $50,000 raise on the button. Louis studying, is that right?
Yes. Louis,
whoa, whoa! Look at this.
It's gonna be some right here, baby.
Louis just raised $400,000 all in.
It's gonna be some right here.
Okay, yeah, it's
this? I
David
bet you
Schu.
David have a hand, but he don't want to get knocked out right now.
I'll tell you something.
He gonna think it hard, baby.
David
I bet you he
Schu.
have a hand.
Of course we know that, Scotty. We know 2 things. One, David has a hand. Look, because here's what happened. Lynn called in the 1 hole, which shows some power to me. And then David decided to raise it. I haven't seen David raise somebody in a long time here. And now Louis, who's probably the single tightest player at the table, moves all in. So to me, Louis has ace-king, queens, kings, or aces, and that's it.
Yes.
That's it.
Nothing less.
Nothing less.
Yes.
Now, the question is, what does David Schu have?
I think he have 10 or jack right now.
You think he has
have a
jacks?
hand, yes.
Yeah. David Schu may well have 2 queens here, Scotty. I mean,
You know, I wouldn't doubt on that, because I know David have a hand right now. When he double raise somebody, I'm pretty sure he have a hand right now. So he gonna have like jacks or queen.
yep.
But he don't want to go broke right now, you know, Phil.
It's interesting, because Scotty, I think we're giving some good commentary here because we really have the hand range narrowed down for the spectators.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that's one of the fun things about playing poker is.
You see that,
David,
baby?
what did he
do you
show?
have? Kings. Kings.
David
2
Schu
aces.
just threw away 2 kings.
And Louis got 2 aces. You see that?
Whoa!
I give you credit for that.
spectators and the
Yes.
spectators worldwide that are watching this will never know how good a laydown that was.
Yes.
The man, David Hsu, just threw away two
What
kings.
I say, he have a hand, but he don't want to go broke right now. He don't want to take chances.
That was
You see that?
amazing.
I just knew when he double raised somebody have a hand, but he don't want to take the chances.
Let me
to go
tell you
broke
something,
right now.
Scotty. Yeah, that's fine and dandy, but let me tell you something. This man,
All right.
when you throw away two kings before the flop, I have not seen that very many times ever at a final table.
Because we always have more to learn. The more we play, the more we learn. You know
I will
what I mean?
say
You
this
remember that.
much. I will say this much. As far as doing my commentary duties, David Hsu had learned. There was a classic thing that happens, and Doyle Brunson once said this in a book I heard, but I've been talking about it in the courses I've been writing in poker. It's called knowing when you're against the nuts. When you just know your opponent has the best hand possible. It happens sometimes, and David Hsu is dialed in, baby. And let me tell you something, he's going to finish first or second, because that's just if he can make that kind of laydown, that's incredible.
Now, just ahead, just now.
To me, these two guys are showing their superstar status right now. David Hsu has not proven himself as of yet to be a superstar, but he's certainly an up-and-coming player who's won a couple of World Series bracelets, and I love the way he plays Texas Hold'em.
Yes.
And if he wins this, he'll be
Very
considered a
confident
superstar.
player. Yes. And Doyle, I tell you,
David
he has
Hsu's
some
opened the
poker-
pot for 65,000. He's gotten raised, or no, John moved in. What are the hands?
Ace Jack against 2, what, 6,
Ace
7?
Jack against 9-7 offsuit.
Jean Boubli is going to be our 7th place finisher from Paris. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Jean and the entire French contingent a wonderful round of applause for being here at the Tournament of Champions.
That hand was a bit meaningless in that, although David again had a hand and raced with Ace Jack, and I think John Boubli probably only had about 20,000 more and already had 20,000
Right.
invested and decided to
Right.
call
Yes.
the last 20,000, which was
Yes.
probably a little bit weak. I'd like to have a little better than a 9-7, but it wasn't that bad. He's probably getting a lot of good pot odds. So
5 of the 6 remaining players have won big-time poker events. They've each won at least one bracelet at the World Series of Poker. Only Lynn Bauer is without one. In fact, between these guys, they have won 16 bracelets. These guys really are great poker players.
there's a lot of strong unknown players out there in the world. There really are, and until they enter this arena and play with us champions, we will never know who they are. And here they have the opportunity to enter the arena with us, having won a smaller kind of tournament, and play with the best players in the world. That's a great thing to have. Here comes David Hsu again. David Hsu just raised the last pot. This time he opened for 45,000. Louis Asmo looks a little more interested in this hand. He might make an action here now. Doyle. Did Doyle just announce a raise?
Doyle's put him to the test by moving all in.
Wow. How
We'll
much
find
money
out.
did Doyle just move all in?
We'll find out if David was making a button raise or if he's serious here.
What happened? Did Lynn just call, Mike?
Lynn called.
Wow. Here's what happened. Lynn opened for 45,000 in the one position, which usually means some kind of a hand. David Hsu called 45,000 on the button, and now Doyle Brunson has moved in what looks like to me $400,000 or $500,000. David throws hand away. I'm predicting Doyle might have 2 nines and ace king. There it is. Classic hand. Look at this flop. 2 hearts, so he needs a heart. Oh man, he made a flush. Doyle needs a 9 or a deuce. There it is. No, I thought it was. I said, whoa. There it is. That's a very exciting pot. In a situation which is, oh my goodness, I didn't realize how much chips he had there. It's a very close situation. This pot could have gone either way, and let me tell you something, there's a lot of money out there. This pot looks to me like it may well be $700,000 pot. Wow. Wow. Now let me tell you something, Linda. That was, but there was an exciting flop for an ace, king, and 2 nines, because even after the flop, it was very close.
Right, we didn't have
Before
to go
the
to
flop,
the river.
it was close. After
Right.
the flop, it was close.
We didn't have to go to the river for the heart to came. It came right there on
Yeah,
4th
it
Street.
popped up, and then Doyle all of a sudden needed a 9 or a deuce to win the
9 or
pot.
deuce, yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just sometimes you have even money pots that are going to determine who may win or lose the tournament. And let me tell you, that was, I believe, a $700,000 pot. Very exciting hand. Now, you know, I must say about that hand that here, what happened is Lynn opened for 45,000 and David called. Doyle, raising all of his chips, was very, Lynn lets him know he has a hand in the 1 hole, so I'm not sure Doyle made such a great raise there.
Well, it's break time now. This is quite exciting, huh? Amarillo Slim's going to be joining Phil to assist with the commentary for the remainder of the tournament. That ought to be fun. Why don't we give you a chip count for the 6 remaining players here, so you can see where everybody stands. In the 1 seat, we have the chip leader David Chu with 1.2 million. The 2 seat Louis Asmo with 520,000. Doyle Brunson's in the 3 seat with 330,000. Lynn Bauer with 650,000 is in second chip position. Doug Saab has 320,000, and Men the Master has 240,000.
Looks like David's open for 80,000. Fold, fold, fold,
I'll tell you,
fold.
he's working on these cats now. Do you know that?
Mm-hmm.
He's forcing them to hold a hand. He is forcing these guys to hold a hand.
He sure is. He's up to probably 1.3 million by now, huh?
Yeah, and it's going to get worse.
Yeah. Here comes Doyle moving all in for about 320,000.
He's just going
Doyle's
force
just
that
moved
dark-
all in.
He's going to force that dark man to hold a hand.
That was interesting. You don't see that very often. Men move the chips towards the pot a little bit, which in California, if you do that, you would have had to call. Min has called him. Look at this. Min must have a pretty big hand here to call Doyle. I suspect Doyle doesn't have too much.
I don't think Doyle's got a big hand.
Doyle's got queen 10. Min's got 2 nines.
I told you, I didn't think. Well, flip a coin.
Doyle, that's another
Flip a
flip 'em.
coin.
It's another
Flip a
flip 'em.
coin.
It's another race.
There's a queen.
Wow.
Like I said, there's a.
What a great flop for him.
Takes a 9 to beat it.
There you are.
What do you think of Doyle's move there, Slim? He just opened for all of his money. What did he open for? $300,000 with a queen 10. One thing about Doyle, if he'd opened that pot for 90,000, he'd have had a tough time calling 200,000 more. So he committed
couldn't
all
have.
of his chips. He couldn't have called more.
Can't make a mistake.
He couldn't make
Cannot
that call.
make a mistake.
So in moving it all in, he's saying, all right, if they call me, they have me beat. But maybe I can,
Overcome
you know.
it.
Yep.
Overcome it.
And Doyle lost an even money $700,000 pot. And this time he won the even money $600,000
Now
pot.
it's
So
back to where they're going to have to wrestle to take those chips away from him.
yeah, that's right. If, it would have been much easier for the field if they eliminated Doyle Brunson right there. Sure. Now look at this situation, Slim. We have $63,500. Min Nguyen has moved all in for. Now Louis has $30,000 out there. So it's only going to cost him.
I'd defend it.
Sure, it only costs him. It only costs him $33,500 more. If he has a hand, he has to play.
If he's
So he
got a
must be
draw,
pretty
he has
weak.
to play. Yeah, but let me tell you.
Oh, here he calls. Okay.
Well, I don't blame him. I don't know what
right.
he's saying. If I had the 4-5 of hearts, I'd call it.
Oh yeah.
Well, I
it
would.
wouldn't be that. Sure, I understand.
I would have to go in with that fur.
So here we are.
He's in against about an ace queen.
Min Nguyen is ace king.
I missed it. Isn't that a miracle?
Louis has a 10-4 of hearts.
His hand too far.
No, Here we go, Slim. Min's probably at least 3-2 favorite here. And there it is. Whoa!
this isn't a face card, this pot's over.
Just about drawn, Dad. And put the badge on the highway patrol car.
Now it's over. Double up.
All right, there we were, the 10.
I don't see all.
You don't blame him for calling.
No, I don't. All these
But
guys.
did you see he made aces full, Slim? Right, you're right. The money's there, right?
If he'd have had 2 kings, he'd have lost it.
Yep.
So why go over results? All of these wise guys around here say, how could you lose 80 and 25, 125,000 on a 10-4? Well, I'd have lost it. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, Slim. You're right. You make a very important point here. It was only $33,000 more to him, and there's $120,000 in the pot, so he's getting laid 4-1. So the math says call. Look at this, Slim. Here we go again in the 1 position. It's been opened by Lynn Bauer for $60,000, and now Doug Saab comes over the top. Doug Saab has about $300,000 here. It's a very significant raise. He said call, and of course he had to call. He had 2 queens. It's queens against 10s. Looks like they both had to play their hands.
Yeah.
No controversial here.
Who's got the queens?
So wait, slow down, Mike. Tell me to go real slow. There it is. Now, the queens were a 4.5 to 1 favorite. Does he have a heart in his hand?
He flopped 3 of them, didn't he?
He couldn't win no matter what comes off now. It's over.
That's what I said.
Look at that, Slim.
Big flop.
The man made 3 queens. Wow.
Killed him with the flop.
Now, how would you like to have your last $300,000 involved in a pot, and you have 2 queens, and it comes a queen on top of it all? Now that's pretty sweet.
I'd love it.
Me too.
I'd love it. Card gods are good to you when that happens.
Now, Slim, here we have another interesting situation. We have really the unknown player named Lynn Bauer is now the chip leader. He qualified in a small tournament in Arizona for this thing. Well, here's another pot between David Shue and Lynn Bauer. David opens for 80,000 this time. Lynn. Is he calling or raising?
Here you go. At that level, there's no hand I could have where I could call it. Well, I might.
You might hear.
Yeah,
about 50,000
excuse me.
more.
I said
Yeah.
yes. Yeah, excuse me. I stand corrected.
And here it comes. Deuce, deuce, 4. I certainly don't put either one of them on a deuce. That's a good flop in case you have 2 jacks in your hand, though. Or 2 10s or 2 9s.
You're a good, strong right arm, either one.
David's checked it right behind him. What would David check here, Slim?
I wouldn't have checked anything. When that man passed.
Maybe check 2 aces or something, but not again, he wouldn't.
Nope. 10 and a something. Now, this can't be anything.
60,000. 80,000.
He's going to get called.
I wouldn't be surprised if he got called there.
I'm telling you. If he's got a hand, you can wet in my hat.
I'm wondering if David Shue has an ace-10 or something. And
I think David Shue's got the best hand.
I feel like David Shue, if he makes this call, he'll have the best hand, and if he folds, he didn't. I have some confidence in the way he's reading his opponents right now.
I don't. I believe this man, how the hell could he have anything? This guy's going to call him. I'd call him. What did I tell you? It's impossible for this guy to have a hand.
Call him with king high. Wow, Slim.
Now, see what I just told you? It's impossible for this guy to have a hand.
Wow, what a call. What a call.
Yeah, but it's impossible for this guy to have a hand.
You're right,
now,
Slim,
but
I'll tell you what's impressive, Slim, is that he called him with king high. The man might have been bluffing with the king higher than that.
That's true, but he couldn't swallow boiled okra when he put
That Slim, whether or not you read him that way or not, to call with king 7 high was a fantastic call. This is the same man that threw away 2 kings before the flop and managed to call $100,000 with king high on the end.
Doesn't make any difference. Like I said, what he smelled cooking isn't on the fire.
Yeah, you're right.
But Review
Look
what
at
we
this. Here
said.
they go again, Slim.
Yeah.
And he got called instantly. Tell him to go slow. Tell him to stop. Tell him to stop. Count the
Right.
chips. Tell him to count the chips. Tell him to count.
And as King Jack, David Shue has ace jack.
Here it is. David
Yeah.
Shue opened for ace jack of clubs for 80,000. Min
got
Nguyen
him.
raised him. How much did Min raise?
Go Jack versus ace jack.
Maybe about 100,000 more. David called him quickly. Now at this point, Min needs a king to stay in the tournament.
Must catch a king.
Must catch a king.
Got a 3-outer with 2 to come.
3 of hearts. A king
Three
or
out.
bye-bye Min? Bye-bye Min.
There it is.
What do you think, Slim? I wouldn't have made that call that Min Nguyen made. I wouldn't have called it. David Shue bet 80,000. Min had about 200,000. I believe I'd have just passed my hand and gone on because David Shue opened in the 1 hole. He opened in the first position.
Indicated some strength.
And indicated a lot of strength, and I would have just thrown the king jack away. Why did Min play that hand? Why did he put the 200,000? He could have waited. I don't like that play.
I don't either.
I'm standing with Min Nguyen. He just finished 5th in the Tournament of Champions of Poker, our first ever. This format's well suited for Min because he's an all-around poker player. Won numerous titles, 4 bracelets, and man, I know you just got knocked out, but what do you think of all this?
I think you do terrific job. I tried to play good to win, but I got beat one hand. Just I got no chips. I have to make a move. There's nothing I can do.
Now, right now, we have a very interesting situation. We have 3 players that have $400,000 and 1 with $2 million. And the prize breakdown, there's a big difference between second and 4th place. In fact, it's 107,000 for second, 214 for first. And 64,000 for third, and only 42,000 for fourth. So the next man out, he gets a new car and 42,000, but there's going to be quite a bit of disappointment when he could have survived just 2 more places and got 107,000. Doyle Brunson opened for 80,000, and David Shue called him again. Wow, what is going on here, Slim?
Well, I don't know. David Shue's got an idea of what's going on.
He sure does. David Shue knows what's going on, yeah.
Did they flop it? Who's first?
He sure did. Deuce, deuce, 5, and Doyle raised on the button, and David Shue.
If that man checks, I'll bet my life Doyle moves in. If that man checks it, Doyle will move all in.
That's very interesting here because Doyle was on the button and David Shue's in the big blind. Now Doyle's talking to confuse David Shue. David Shue's had a lot of good reads today. Now talking might give away Doyle's hand. I don't know if I like him talking.
No. Doyle will be all right. He knows what he's doing.
Doyle knows what he's doing. He's trying to confuse David Shue.
Yes.
David's considering calling 300,000 here. What do you think David has here? Slim, you think he's thinking about calling him with ace high?
Yes.
I think so too.
Yes.
I think so too.
Yes. And it may be good.
It may be good. In
know
fact,
that.
David Shue might have ace 3 or ace 4 or something and has a straight draw with his ace high.
If he's got that, he's going to call it off.
He might, but 300,000 is a lot to
There's
double
Doyle.
up Doyle.
There's Doyle. Look up there. Now, you think you can find out anything about his hand looking at him? Well, they cut it off.
Doyle's good at disguising his hands for the viewers out there, and I mean, he's a world champion, 8-time world champion. He's been around a long time, and David Shue's called him. Wow.
Well, what is it?
Doyle had hit a 5. Doyle did have a weak hand, but he caught perfect to the flop.
6-5 clubs. 2 5s, 5 of the deuces. David Shue has ace queen. Doyle has the best hand.
I'm surprised David Shue didn't re-raise him before the flop. I think he misplayed the hand in that way.
He did.
Whoa, my God.
There it goes.
Doyle was a huge favorite to win. Was a pretty big favorite to win the spot. Now Doyle has 2 outs of the deck.
Yeah.
He's 20-1 underdog. And it missed.
Out he goes.
Wow.
That man's made all the right decisions.
He's made all the right
Doyle
decisions.
didn't have a hand like I told you, but I knew Doyle was going to bet.
But Doyle did have 5s as it turned out. David Shue, when he called $80,000 with the best hand, he called the 80 with the best hand with ace queen. He could have bet it all with the best hand. Now what happened to him, because he just called, he ended up calling 360 with the worst hand.
He waited until it got beat.
He waited until he was a big underdog before he put the 360,000, and I do not like that play at all.
Doyle, I've never seen anyone get a standing ovation like that for getting broke, and It wasn't because you got broke, it's because how much they appreciate your play. And we just are so thrilled that you're here at the Tournament of Champions.
Well, it was, I got to say that I've played in probably, I don't know, 100, 150 tournaments. And this was the best run tournament that I've ever played in. And I mean, I'm not just saying that, and I really believe it was. I couldn't believe really how well this tournament was handled. To tell you the truth, the only reason I came and used my name is because you and I are such good friends, but I'm glad I did, and it was more than I expected. This was really a great tournament, and I'll be back next year, and I'll be a host again.
You sure got it. You got a lifetime host job. Doyle, thank you so much. Doyle Brunson, ladies and gentlemen, Hall of Famer, the greatest in the game.
Here we are back in the action. And Louis Asmo is about 400,000 in chips. And we have David Hsu with 2.5 million in chips. And we have Lynn with about 260,000. Now here's what's happened. David Hsu's open for $90,000. And Lynn, okay, so what happened? Did they call all in? Something very interesting happened here. I believe that Lynn Bauer was trying to move all in, but he said call. So he's only able to call here. It was obvious he was trying to move all in. He hasn't beat David Hsu a pot yet. All right, they're all in now. They're all in now. Lynn has moved in $200,000. David has Jack 10.
David has Jack 10, giving him top pair. Lynn has Jack 9.
He needs an 8 for a straight here. With 1 to come, he needs an 8 to survive. Otherwise, David Hsu is going to have a... Wow. Now, to me, that was a bad break in the sense that Lynn... What really happened there is that Lynn Bauer was trying to raise the pot. Lynn Bauer was trying to raise the pot, and what happened is he was not allowed to raise because of his own misdeclaration. I don't think David Hsu could have called $200,000 more with a 10 jack. So Lynn would have won the pot had he been able to raise, but it was Lynn's fault for saying call.
We're now with Lynn Bauer. Man played a magnificent tournament, just finished 3rd in the Tournament of Champions. Lynn, really a terrific performance.
He plays an excellent game. Just couldn't defend yourself against him either.
I must say that David Hsu has an insurmountable lead at this point, and I would be very, very surprised if Louis Asmo was able to come back from this. Here we are down to the final 2 at the Tournament of Champions. David Hsu with almost $3 million in chips versus Louis Asmo with, what does Louis have? About 300,000. So David Hsu, who's managed to make every right move all day long, has been playing just wonderful poker. Looks like he's going to win the inaugural Tournament of Champions. One year, Jack Strauss, a legendary poker player, was down to a single chip at the World Series of Poker. A single $100 chip. By the time the tournament had ended, he had accumulated $650,000 in chips and won the World Championship from 1 chip. So, and I know one thing, Louis not going to give up. But anyway, I play high-stakes poker with David Hsu a lot in L.A. He plays all the games well. He's a high-stakes player.
Yeah.
So, and his no-limit hold'em game's been really excellent today as well. You know, this hand's interesting, Slim, because the man opened for 80,000. David Hsu did. And he called, Louis Asmo called. And now on the flop, he bet 80,000 and Louis called. Now a flush card's come off.
They both check?
They both check, but the 7s are paired. Look at this, the ace of
Another
clubs.
club,
David
4 clubs.
about jumped out of his seat when that card came off. I don't know what that means, Slim, but I think maybe he made something. Did you see that?
No, I can't
he
see
lurched
him
a
for
little
that
bit.
camera. Well,
I think the card hit him. Usually when
I've
noticed when
that happened.
I've noticed that, you know, when a card seems to hit a guy, sometimes he lurches a little bit.
He reacts.
Yeah, he reacted like it really hit him.
Now, here's a wager. He's milking him like a Rocky Mountain goat. He's trying to sell him a bill of goods. You hear me?
Yeah.
He's got a club.
I know he has a club.
I do, too.
You and I both know that he has a
And
hand
he's-
here.
he's
We
not-
could be wrong.
No,
But,
no. He's not trying to get him out of there. He's trying
Luis
to bet him
decided to
something
call
he
him.
knows he'll call. He's trying to bet him
There it
something
is.
he knows he'll
The
call.
10 of clubs.
I
Yep.
told you, just like it is.
Well, I agreed with you.
Well, my breast would be so sore I couldn't sit still. He milked him like a Rocky Mountain goat.
And I told you when he jumped out of his seat, it looked like that card hit him, you know?
But
That ace
he
of clubs came off
sold
and he
it.
jumped.
He sold it. He sold it. A raw banana split ain't no good unless you sell it.
We both thought he got there, and the
Well,
man
I did.
jumped out of his seat. I mean, what the?
The tip-off was when he made that
It's,
little small bet.
The 90,000 only.
I would have given him
With all that
pot.
money out there.
I would have given. Now this
That's
is
right.
a desperation play. That must be all in.
20, 40, 60, 80, about 100,000. Now, for
That's
David Chu, he only
desperation.
has to call 60 more thousand, so there's not all that many hands he
wouldn't
might
be-
fold here.
I wouldn't be in no big ace.
David Chu, King
look
Jack. He had an easy call. He had an easy move in with ace-8 of diamonds.
Now, if David wins this pot, he's blessed. If he wins this pot, he's blessed.
He's about 3-2 favorite here. Louis
At
is.
least.
I have a feeling.
Oh, he'll win it.
Oh my God! I have a
Okay.
feeling David's going to catch a heart. Now, isn't this
Look at
exciting?
here. This is what
Isn't
makes
this exciting?
poker fun.
This is it. He has a nut flush draw, and the man has aces.
Yeah.
So this is a kind of fun.
Don't
They don't
worry.
make it easy on you.
Insurance.
They don't make it easy on
He'll
poor
catch a
Louis. He
heart.
can't just catch an ace.
It'll be a heart. Don't worry.
I have a feeling too. Let's see. That would be something if he made the nut flush
It'll
for
be
the
a
last
heart.
hand.
It'll be a heart.
It was.
Did I tell you?
Yep.
Cinches
Wow.
B1.
Wow.
It's a
He
cinches
won the
be a heart.
tournament with the nut flush, Slim.
Well,
The
he-
nuts. The man moved in with King Jack high and he ended up with the nuts.
He played
Best
extra
possible
good.
hand.
He played extra
He
good.
played beautiful poker.
He erred twice and won both times.
I'm really proud of him. I'm really proud of David Chu. I don't like the ace-queen play, but that's about the only bad play I saw him make.
Doesn't
And he
matter.
made some spectacular plays other than that. And
Yeah.
by the way, he made aces and eights with the last card too, didn't he?
Well, it had to be a heart.
He sure did. The man made aces and eights. That's
Here
a
we
very
go,
exciting last hand, isn't it?
20 minutes ago, we was talking about something. He's going good.
He's going good. You're
And
right,
he
Slim.
is. And I felt like he'd make a flush.
Louis, you finished second today, but boy, what a show. 664 players. Great event. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'm happy. Great player. I lost to a great player. He played better.
Let's go over to our champion now. David, the crowd is buzzing at some of them plays you made. The man got raised before the flop. The guy moved in on him. In fact, it was Louis. He threw 2 kings away before the flop. An hour later, a guy bet him at the river 100,000. He called him with a king 7, a king high. He won that pot. You lay kings down, you call with a king, but your play was spectacular. Your timing was perfect. You truly deserve to be the Tournament of Champions winner. What do you think, David?
Thank you. Well, as you said, that timing is everything. It's my choice. I don't want this is the last person to play against with. He's a good player, and like Doyle, Min Master, everybody's playing great. The table is tough. I got lucky. That's all I can say.
Well, it's tough. They're all champions here at the Tournament of Champions.
True.
You got to beat the best to win here. We congratulate you on your Tournament of Champions win, and we're going to present the trophies and the money to them now. We're now with Mike Vento, who's going to make the first place trophy presentation to our first ever Tournament of Champions victor, Mr. David Chu. And go ahead, Mike, make the presentation.
On behalf of the Orleans Hotel and Casino and the Tournament of Champions, my congratulations on our first TOC championship. Well deserved. Show off your trophy to the audience.
Just a fantastic performance, ladies and gentlemen. David Chu, that's a heavy trophy. Oh, hey. Hold it, we're not finished.
The keys to the Lincoln Town car parked downstairs. One of the most beautiful cars ever given away at a tournament. They belong to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. There you go. You guys want to ride?
Yeah, right.
And last but not least,
Last but not least, the cash, all the money goes right here. All yours. Take one, at least show it one to the crowd.
Are we gonna count one by one? No, just kidding.
Yeah, we'll be here all night.
and thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And as we wrap up our first Tournament of Champions, the 1999 TOC, congratulating David Chu. We want to thank the Orleans Hotel and Casino, the spectators, the fans, the support, the casinos around the world, and all the players from all over the world that attended here. We thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing all of you for the 2000 TOC. Best of luck to the whole world in qualifying for the TOC. You got to win a tournament to get here. Best of luck.